Welcome to Money Talks with Cathy Yang, your intel on the Philippine markets and the economy. In the headlines, Wall Street recovers as U.S. President Trump announces targeted tariffs. A greenhouse facility about to be unveiled in San Rafael, Bulacan, the largest of its kind in the Philippines. We speak with Metro Pacific AgroVentures Chief Commercial Officer Toby Gatchalian. And in Women Who Lead, we speak with a woman championing women-owned and women-led businesses, helping them scale with smart capital. I have just got breaking news from Seoul Samsung Electronics. Co-CEO Han Jong-hee passes on at the age of 63. Breaking news from South Korea just half an hour ago, Samsung Electronics co-CEO Han Jong-hee has died from cardiac arrest at the age of 63. Han was in charge of Samsung's consumer electronics and mobile devices division. He joined Samsung in 1988 at the visual display division. Since then, Han has been regarded as a key figure in the development and marketing of the company's TV business. He was appointed vice chairman and CEO of Samsung Electronics in 2022. Han's funeral will be held in southern Seoul this Thursday. South Korea's Kospi Index, Samsung Electronics trading flat this morning. Metro Pacific Fresh Farms launches in the next hour the Philippines' biggest greenhouse facility in San Rafael, Bulacan, revolutionizing local farming practices. With us now live from San Rafael, Bulacan is Toby Gatchalian, the Chief Commercial Officer of Metro Pacific AgroVentures. Welcome to the program, Toby, and congratulations.
Good morning, Cathy. Thank you for having us.
It is a huge vegetable greenhouse facility that I'm seeing right behind you in a plot of land that I've seen from the groundbreaking just a little over 2 years ago. And today's your first harvest, I understand.
Yes, today we open Metro Pacific Fresh Farms, and as well, it will be our first ceremonial harvest today.
All right.
Very exciting.
It is indeed. What types of food can we now bring to the Filipino family's table and improve it at a granular level? Because this had also always been the goal of Jovi Hernandez, the president and CEO of MPAV.
Yes, your question was what kind of food can we serve? Is that what you're saying? Yes. So anything can be grown in a hydroponic facility with nutrient film technology and drip irrigation. We are able to produce different varieties of green leafy vegetables and different kinds of fleshy vegetables as well as fruits. Behind me is one greenhouse for green leafy vegetables, which can produce about 60,000 lettuce heads per month. That's as much as 144 tons per year. We'll be producing in other greenhouses peppers, capsicums, cucumbers, cherry tomatoes, beef tomatoes, and different kinds of vegetables in the future.
It sounds like a healthy plate I'm seeing for the Filipino palate, but how does the facility address the traditional bottlenecks that we typically encounter? Fresh veg not getting to us, customers fast enough and at fair prices, and farmers not really knowing if they've got a ready market to serve each day?
So there are many things that are problematic with the current value chain, and we're doing a little bit of our part to be able to help, where currently the Filipino family really is unable, they deserve more from traditional farming, which does not produce the ideal yields and costs for the consumer, to a fragmented supply chain, to the inefficiencies of traditional farming. Here, we're able to solve that with bringing food miles closer to Filipino homes with technology that's able to produce more with 90% land, 90% less land, 90% less water, 90 to 99% less pesticides to provide consumers with safer, healthier, bigger, more volume, more consistent quality, nutritious vegetables.
Well, let me pick up on the technology there. You call it the NFT greenhouse or the nutrient film technique greenhouse. Last time I checked, NFT for me was a fungible token. What is it going to mean for price, though? Because this is most important. It's got to be affordable at the end of the day.
So basically, nutrient film technique allows you to bring the nutrients straight to the roots of our lettuce and different plants that different vegetables that will be grown here in the greenhouse. It allows you to give the best nutrition, the best quality, so that consumers get the best value for their money because of being able to produce at scale with consistent quality, with very little wastage at a very close proximity to Metro Manila. We'll be able to provide very competitive value to our consumers in supermarkets as well as in hotels and restaurants and other areas where people eat vegetables.
All right. Well, what about the farmers, though? Being tech-driven, is it going to take away jobs or create more for the Filipino farmers?
No. In fact, we espouse the concept of a nucleus farm estate where we'll be able to start with our own light and let the light spread all throughout the community and be able to teach the same technology to other farmers who want to be able to build it at scale. It's the same kind of inclusive model that we follow in our dairy business, where we're able to help smallholder dairy farmers and smallholder corn farmers to support our dairy business. It's the same concept. We're able to help show small farmers that they can actually produce more with less.
We got about a minute. Toby, you've got veg under Metro Pacific Fresh Farms on top of milk through Carmen's Best and coconut through Axilum Resources Corp. What next then for you to produce for a more balanced Filipino plate?
So as our chairman MVP said, we must develop our ability to feed our people first. And our vision is to help redefine the Filipino plate. Beyond dairy and vegetables, beyond coconut, we are looking at other aspects of the ideal Filipino plate that we would like to get into, because the Filipino deserves nothing less than fresh. And we want to give what they deserve. The Filipinos deserve more. Fresh is best, local and fresh. So we're working on other areas to explore beyond our current areas of focus, which is dairy, vegetables, and coconut. More to come.
Looks like this is just a start. I'm looking to see them in the grocery stores. Thank you so much, Toby, for making the time. I know it's going to be a busy morning for you. Toby Gatchalian of Metro Pacific Agro Ventures in Bulacan.
Thank you.
And you're watching Money Talks in One News. Coming up after the break, U.S. President Donald Trump hints at exempting some countries from reciprocal tariffs. And foreign tourists can now shop VAT-free here in the Philippines. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back to Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang. U.S. President Donald Trump hints at softening reciprocal tariffs he plans to impose in April 2. Trump says, quote, he may give a lot of countries a break from the duties. The statement comes as the White House considers postponing levies on automobiles, pharmaceuticals, and semiconductors. But tariffs in countries with persisting trade imbalances are likely to push through on April 2, deemed by the president as Liberation Day. At the White House yesterday, Monday, Trump announced that South Korea's Hyundai would pour $20 billion into the U.S. for new investments, including a steel plant in Louisiana.
Hyundai will be producing steel in America and making its cars in America, and as a result, they'll not have to pay any tariffs. You know, there are no tariffs if you make your product in America.
The S&P Global Ratings emphasizes Asia-Pacific will be indirectly affected by Trump's tariffs as the New York-based Debt Watcher expects domestic demand to hold up. In a report out this morning, the S&P Global Ratings warns escalating trade tensions emanating from the tariff threats will result in slower economic growth worldwide. The Debt Watcher says uncertainties will weigh on exports and that Asian manufacturers will be pressured from Chinese producers who are seeking alternatives to the U.S. market. Still, strong domestic demand will help keep regional economies resilient. The S&P Global Ratings predicts the Philippines, Australia, Indonesia, and New Zealand to be insulated from the risks of U.S. tariffs due to low import tariffs and the absence of major bilateral goods surplus with the U.S. The balance of payments expected to weaken in 2025 and 2026 because of slower global trade and cautious investor sentiment. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas says global economic growth will likely stay sluggish as economies contend with U.S. trade policy changes. It will also be further weighed down by the ongoing weakness in the Chinese economy, prolonged geopolitical tensions, and volatile commodity prices. Locally, strong domestic demand and government spending will help soften the impact. However, a wider trade deficit and lower service trade earnings will keep the BOP in deficit. Exports may see modest growth, but semiconductor shipments will likely remain flat. Meanwhile, overseas Filipino remittances will grow at a slower pace as host countries prioritize local workers. Foreign investments will provide support, but slower U.S. rate cuts could limit capital flows. On remittances, the BSP says Trump's immigration policies are expected to only have a minimal effect. This as most Filipinos based in the U.S. are permanent residents and documented migrants. This suggests that apart from Trump's trade decisions, this immigration policy may disrupt economic activities. In the interview on The Long Take, philanthropist and U.S. Filipinos for Good Governance founder Loida Nicolas Lewis advised undocumented Filipinos in the U.S. to get good immigration lawyers rather than voluntarily returning home.
If they can afford a lawyer can help them either legalize their stay or wait it out. Because at least in the United States, there's such a thing as due process. So for all of those who are illegal in the United States, don't come home if you have a job. Find a good lawyer, pay the lawyer, you can stay until Trump is over.
That's very solid advice. Fight for your right to due process.
Exactly. We are in the United States, not the Philippines.
And U.S. markets have started the week on an upbeat note after Trump floated tariff exceptions. The Nasdaq led yesterday's indexes, gaining by 2.25%, and the big tech stocks rose. Tesla surging 12%, and Amazon and Nvidia by over 3%. The S&P 500 climbed by nearly 2%, and the Dow was up nearly 1.5%. 10-year Treasury yields advanced to 4.33% from the previous close of 4.25%, and gold prices closed lower by 0.2% to $3,013.10 per troy ounce. U.S. futures point to a slight decline when the markets open in New York later tonight, Manila time. As you can see, all down arrows there. The Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq lower by less than 0.1%. Let's take a quick check on the Asian markets. They're rising in the first hours of trading this Tuesday. Australia's ASX 200 up 0.7%. South Korea's Kospi gaining by 0.6%. And Japan's Nikkei 225 climbing by over 1%. Trading at the Philippine Stock Exchange was delayed yesterday, Monday, by 2 hours. PSEI President Ramon Monzon attributed the delay to system connectivity issues. The market opened at 11:10 a.m. instead of the usual 9:30 a.m. The last time the PSEI opened late was on December 9, 2024. Analysts say the delay dampened trading on Monday. The index closed the session down by over 1%. PSEI is now open this Tuesday, and in the first 48 minutes of trading, the market is up by less than 0.1% at 6,194. As for the Philippine peso, its open Tuesday session just a tad stronger there at 57.31 to the dollar. The local currency closed Monday slightly stronger at 57.32. Foreign tourists can now shop VAT-free in the Philippines following the signing of the implementing rules and regulations of the VAT Refund for Non-Resident Tourists Act, or RA 12079. Finance Secretary Ralph Recto, Customs Commissioner Bienvenido Rubio, and Internal Revenue Deputy Commissioner Marisa Cabreros have signed the IRR on Monday, March 24th. The law aims to boost tourism and the economy through increased tourist spending. Under the new rules, foreign tourists can claim a VAT refund on purchases of at least 3,000 pesos from accredited stores, which must be taken out of the country within 60 days from date of purchase. Covered goods include clothing, electronics, and souvenirs, excluding services. The Philippines is becoming the new preferred destination in Southeast Asia for companies expanding with presence in China, says the Philippine Economic Zone Authority. PEZA Director General Tereso Panga said in a social media post on Monday, the appetite of Chinese and multinational companies eyeing to invest in the Philippines is increasing as the U.S. imposes 20% tariffs on all imports from China. He said Vietnam is the first choice of companies with a footprint in China for expansion. Well, with us now for more here in the studio is Ronilo Balbieran, economist at the University of Asia and the Pacific. He is also Vice President at Research, Education, and Institutional Development Foundation. So good to see you, Ron. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Cathy.
So-
Honored to be here.
Yes, so what do you make of it? The PEZ is saying we're the +1 in the ASEAN region when it comes to China.
But definitely this is good news, no? And I think this is a counter good news for the political drama that we are seeing right now, no? So this only affirms that the fundamentals of the Philippine economy is good, and that we have actually instituted reforms that we have attempted for almost one reform amendment to the Public Service Act. It almost took us 1 century, you know, to revise. And so there are a lot of all these new laws create more Internet Transactions Act, Renewables Energy Act. These will have huge positive consequences for our investment landscape.
But why settle for +1 when we could be number 1?
Well,
outpacing Vietnam, because every time I talk with economists in the Asia-Pacific region, they're always saying we're the far second.
Well, probably because we like to be, we like to be in a crisis first before we get our acts together. We like to cram as a people, no? So we like drama before doing something very, very positive and very united. No?
So what would that be? Would it be the Create More Act then?
So
the implementing rules and regulations just came through in February.
Yes,
So
yes.
every now and then I want to know whether that's making any difference, or is it too early to ask?
It will have huge differences now. So because as we know, power is a very huge discouragement for investors here in the Philippines. We have huge power costs, we have huge logistics costs, and so as we try to solve the supply of our power, to bring down energy costs, and as we try to complete our transportation and logistics infrastructure, we're here to offer some reprieve for our investors. And so you now have 100% deductions for your power expense, and then also for some other additional deductions for your logistics costs. No? So these will now try to counterbalance the things that we experience, which the challenges that the investors experience
Right.
as they try to decide whether to locate to the Philippines or not.
And that's the big question, because now we get to the supply chain bottlenecks
Yes.
that still exist, even
Yes.
with the Create More IRR. Maybe down the line that'll solve that issue, but that's what's in front of the foreign investor right now.
Yes.
So what value add can we give the foreign investor if they have the Vietnams of the ASEAN to choose from, and they have a more seamless experience, as it were, because they don't have these bottlenecks?
So I think the government is trying to do a two-punch combination for this. No? So at the short term, you have the Create More, you have the Foreign Investment Act, you have the Retail Trade Liberalization Act, and all the other new laws that you've just mentioned about the VAT refund for foreign tourists. So all these are immediate short-term offer for our investors as we try to demonstrate to our investors, look, in the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to be completing a lot of this flagship transport and logistics infrastructure. We are trying to build as many power supply projects, and so all of you are welcome. 100% foreign ownership for a lot of the sectors. So you have the short term and the medium term, and we have the long term as we actually build more long term infrastructure, and we're quite excited. For example, the Dalton Pass bypass road expressway has been in the pipeline for more than 2 decades already, but this will revolutionize the logistics of agriculture sector from our region 2 down to region 3 to NCR, and this will bring down food prices for the huge market of Central Luzon, NCR, Calabarzon. Okay. And this will give additional benefit for the investors, feeding their 5,000, 10,000 laborers. And these, when combined, short-term, medium-term, and long-term, are only good news for our investors.
Okay, and the VAT refund for tourists. Now I can ask my friends from overseas
Yes,
to
yes,
get that
yes.
VAT refund. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. And Ronilo Balbiera of UANP. In our continuing tribute to Women Who Lead, we speak with ARC SME and BDC, supporting women entrepreneurs to scale their businesses beyond small. With us now for more is Abigail De Los Santos Tan, the co-founder and managing partner of ARC SME and BDC. So good to have you on, Abby. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Cathy. Good morning. Thank you for having us.
So you've been supporting promising Philippine SMEs for more than 8 years, and nearly
Correct.
a year of that in collaboration with the Australian government under She's Secure, where you've chosen to
Yes.
support not the micro, but small, women-owned and women-led businesses. Why?
Yeah. So, interestingly, when we started this product called She Secure with the Australian government, of course, we want to make sure that the product is fitted to what the country needs. So, what we learned in an ADB study is that women actually contributes more than half of the pie when it comes to micro and small enterprises. However, that majority figure suddenly drops to 16% when you talk about women ownership for medium and large enterprises. So that actually, gave us a very clear question. How come women ownership suddenly drops from a micro small when they graduate to a medium?
So could you give us
And
an
that's why we
idea,
created
maybe,
She
Abby, of
Secure.
what kinds of women-owned and women-led businesses have you helped to scale so far? Could you give us some color on whose lives you've changed?
Sure. So we've actually backed businesses across healthcare, retail, agriculture, tech, sectors with strong growth potential in the country, whilst we do have geopolitics, outside of the Philippines. Some of the companies that we've backed are, for instance, Houseok. It's a women-led real estate company building affordable housing, creating accessible home ownership opportunities to Filipinos. Strategically, we assisted them in terms of identifying their next milestone township development. So this is how our role evolves as a capital provider, not only providing the capital, but also providing revenue generating activities or strategic advisory. Another company that we've actually backed under She Secure is Water Chem Solutions Industries. They're a one-stop shop for water management and wastewater treatment services, and our capital allowed them to actually expand their product into chemical products. And this, of course, not only with how the company can grow with our capital, but also in building gender equality practices internally, at the same time creating new job opportunities as the company expands their business.
Yeah, that's really important, creating those job opportunities. But why would now be the right time to scale? I mean, we've got a lot of local uncertainties to deal with, including slowing global economic growth, and not to mention the global volatilities owing to Trump 2.0.
Correct. So I think of course, we are focused on companies where the opportunities in front of them is visible. But we believe that now is the right time to scale because number one, we strongly believe that there's resilience in diversity. And it's never a good time to actually hone diversity in businesses. So we believe that gender diverse businesses have proven to be more than resilient during economic downturns and making these into strategic investments. In addition, we think that it's the right time to scale because this particular market continues to be underfunded. And we believe that having a product dedicated that will address the issues or the missing pieces for women-owned and led companies should allow them to have more confidence in accessing these types of capital as they scale their business. And ultimately, the good thing is Philippines, while there's geopolitics, these Trump 2.0 issues coming around, the reality is there's still basic necessities to be served. And there's, as companies modernize and digitize, there are capital requirements in order for them to undertake these opportunities as they scale their businesses efficiently.
Okay. So there's the message, just go for it and do it and scale it. Thank you so much,
Correct.
Abby Tan of ARC SME BDC. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, Cathy.
And that is it for Money Talks. I am Cathy Yang. Catch us again tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. here on One News. We're also streamed live on YouTube and on our Facebook channels. Have a great day ahead.